Hi, and welcome back to your Autism Game Plan. Thanks for joining me again today. I'm Joya Vanderlaan, a family nurse practitioner, a functional medicine specialist, and an autism mom. So today we're going to talk a little bit about what diets, what foods are good and not good for children, people with autism. The good news is that although there are some big changes that can be made, the foods that are recommended for kids with autism are also going to be better for those without autism. In other words, really, the whole family can benefit from making these changes. The most common diet for autism is the gluten-free, casein-free diet. So we'll start there, and I'll go over a few other foods that are good to avoid, and then just give a little bit of detail about some other diets that are very commonly used by those treating autism. Over the past decade or so, the gluten-free diet has become very popular, not only among those with autism or those trying to help people with autism, but for the population in general. You'll see a lot more options in the grocery store and online for gluten-free foods, gluten-free flours, and even packaged foods. When done right, the gluten-free diet can actually help decrease inflammation, decrease a lot of the processed foods that we're getting in, and decrease a lot of the refined carbohydrates that we're otherwise eating. Gluten is a protein found in many grains, but the gluten found in wheat is particularly troublesome to a variety of people, not only those with autism. It can often be a cause of inflammation and irritation in the GI tract and elsewhere, but also a common cause of things like brain fog, muscle soreness, headaches, constipation, diarrhea, even bedwetting in our kids. So it's really good to take a look and see, can we do a good job of doing a gluten-free diet, and will this help our child? The dairy-free and casein-free diet are also very commonly used in children with autism, and a lot of benefit can be seen there. Casein is the main protein that is found in dairy. A lot of dairy can be super inflammatory for a lot of different people. It's one of the top food sensitivities and in allergies even, especially in kids and certain ethnic populations. Now, it also is a mucus producer, so it tends to produce mucus in our throats and even in the eustachian tubes, which connect our ears to our throat. Think about things like ear infections, right? So we want to do a good job of avoiding dairy, at least giving it a good few months of a strict elimination trial for our children with autism, because it can make a big difference, especially when it's combined with the gluten-free diet. Soy is another food that autistic people may do well avoiding. Soy is found in so many foods, but it's highly genetically modified. So as of 2018, about 94% of our soy crops were genetically modified or GMO, and that can cause problems. So you want to look for foods ideally that are organic and non-GMO. You're never going to reach 100%, that's okay. But when it comes to something like soy, when you buy soy, you can be relatively sure, unless it specifically states that it's not, you can be relatively sure that you're getting a genetically modified product. Corn. So corn is another problem. Now, one of the reasons for that can be because 92% of our crops of corn as of 2018 per the FDA were genetically modified or GMO. And again, this can be a problem. Corn is just found everywhere. It's a cheap crop to grow, it's subsidized, and so corn product is put in a lot of our foods. Think high fructose corn syrup, corn starch as a thickener for a lot of things. Corn itself, right? Cornbread, cornmeal, corn flakes. A lot of cereals have corn in it, and you got to watch out because a lot of it's GMO. Even things like our gummy bears or drinks that might have corn-based sugars, corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup, which is a problem in more ways than just because it has corn, by the way. And another interesting thing is corn is not a vegetable, like a lot of us grew up thinking. Corn is a grain. And so if we're planning our meals, Corn does not have to be on our plate. That is not a vegetable. It is not a particularly healthy thing to eat all the time. So it's one of those things that is just better left off the plate. And especially when we're trying to help our kiddos with autism, corn can be a really helpful thing to do a trial elimination of sugar. I could do a whole video for you on the pitfalls of sugar, but just briefly, I think we all know that sugar is not really a helpful thing to have in our diet, and we can have it sometimes, but if we have too much of it, it can really cause a lot of inflammation and other problems. So watch out for the sugar content of the foods that we're feeding ourselves and our kids, especially in a lot of the quote healthy foods that are marketed to kids, like cereals and bars, like, granola bars and protein bars. A lot of those are really high in sugar, despite the fact that they're marketed as healthy foods. So watch the sugar content of what you're feeding your kids. If you start researching online different diets for autism or ADHD, you may come across the GAPS diet, or gut and psychology syndrome diet. This diet is based on the fact we know that there's a really important connection between the gut and the brain. And so if the brain's not healthy, the gut's not healthy. If the gut's not healthy, the brain's not healthy. So this diet, the idea behind it is to improve the health of the gut, thereby improving the health of the brain. Now, I'm going to post a link below to a really good reference website. There are just too many foods on the yes list and too many foods on the no list for me to list out here. Generally, it's a very healthy diet full of fruits and vegetables, and proteins and fats, but have a look at it if you're curious about the GAPS diet. One thing I will say is that the GAPS diet is not where most people should start. As I've mentioned before, ideally, the best place for most people to start is going to be the gluten-free, casein-free, dairy-free diet. And then you can kind of add on and change from there. But the gluten-free, casein-free diet really has been helpful to the highest number of people with autism. You may also come across information about the Feingold Diet. This is basically an elimination diet to figure out if your child has sensitivities to artificial flavors, artificial dyes or colorings, or salicylates, a certain compound in certain foods and in aspirin, for instance. Many people have sensitivities to these things and don't realize it until they eliminate them from their diet and they feel better. And then when they eat something with, for instance, red dye number 40 or tartrazine, which is yellow dye, that they feel worse again when they eat those products. So I'm going to have a link below again to a more comprehensive website where you can look at what is the Feingold diet. I will say, in general, it's a very good idea to eliminate all sources of artificial ingredients, colors, flavors, any of those things from the diet. Salicylates are not a problem for everyone, so that's where this diet can sometimes be helpful. There's a lot of information out there, isn't there? I hope I've simplified some of your diet questions. Remember, start with the gluten-free, casein-free, dairy-free diet and do that strictly for a couple of months. Yes, it'll be hard, but it's worth doing. It's worth trying. And hopefully the whole family gains some knowledge and maybe even improved health in the meantime while you do this. As always, I'm very happy to hear from you if you have questions about this or suggestions for future video topics. Always feel free to email me or contact on any of our social media outlets, YouTube channel. And remember, be gentle with yourself. You're doing a great job.